Sorry, I don't speak Ukrainian yet. I should. But if we talk somewhere there, you can use Ukrainian. I will try to understand. All right. First of all, yeah, the presentation is here. How did I become? Especially I put it the I because it was my idea, so that's why it's I. It's not that I am always in the center of everything. No, it's just this little case. So that will be like a story how the Leon is a telco. It's ISP. It's we operate for, I don't know, 15, 20 years, something like that. It's so long I don't remember. In south part of Poland, and the second company, LeoLabs, was established later, and I will explain a bit more. So Leon is a regional telecom with own FTTH infrastructure. So we do own fiber cables and infrastructure to the customers. We have own subscribers also, so we know how to handle subscribers, so how to deal with them, and own R&D. So because there were no solutions for us in the time when we started, we have developed own OSS, BSS systems and so on. So we do a lot of testing, checking, spending money on some equipment, and then we just put on the shelf and it's there. But we are trying to learn and develop a lot of things. That's an example how many cables you have. It's not much. I mean, it's over 1,000 kilometers. I guess today it would be closer to 2,000. But if you look at the map of Poland, we are just here. So it's not like a huge company. It's about, I don't know, 25,000 of customers. And we are growing. Every year we are growing. So we are not a global player yet. Now, we started long time ago, and we started with FTTH, with OLTs by Ericsson. I don't know who remembers that Ericsson made the OLTs. It was BLM 1500. But then, as large corporations, they usually do something like, okay, we don't want this part, and we're going to sell it with customers to some other company. And they sold it to Calix, which is below. They have own OLTs. In the meantime, there was a Chinese company who did the ONTs for them. It was called CIG, Cambridge Industries Group. This is one of the biggest vendors. They do quite interesting things. They have own OMCI stack, own SDKs for different chipsets and so on. And it was quite okay because until one day, the ONTs, which are here on the left side, made by this third-party company, branded with Ericsson or Calix, were working with both platforms, BLM and the E7 from Calix. So, the start of R&D, we were trying to collect some equipment from eBay, from AliExpress, just to check what is inside. I was quite curious because I have finished electronics, and I like using a soldering iron and looking inside what is inside. So I was burning in time. That is impossible with corporations. You can't burn your time. So I did it on equipment analysis. So trying to check what is the main chipset inside, what is what factory might do it. Now it's tens of them, but when I was interested in that time, there was not too many factories who made the PON equipment. Is it possible just to change flash if the chipset is similar between two devices, and will it work? Checking for some common denominator. But the situation with our network become critical because the ONTs that I've shown you by CIG, they were using Marvell chipsets, which Marvell stopped manufacturing. Well, I understand them because the chipset in fact was like 3 ports of 100 megs and 1 port of 1 gig from the point of view of Ethernet. So if you got the ONT, which was with 4 1 gig ports, there was additional chipset, which was like a switch chip inside, 1 gig to 4 1 gig ports. So they stopped. They created the new ones, but this factory and in fact Calix didn't want to buy these products anymore, and they stopped making. I put here G93. That's the original code of this ONU, which was with a different product code by Ericsson and Calix. And so Calix stops making ONTs for both this BLM and also with this their own Calix E7 OLT. And their proposal was, okay, they will do only ONTs for the new series, and you can swap the old OLTs with our new OLTs. You will get some very good proposal, but as every American proposal is that, okay, it's not for our market, absolutely. The price was unacceptable, so it started to be critical because we were running out of devices slowly, and there was no chance to buy new. So I decided to contact with the factory that made it before for Calix and Ericsson, the CIG, as last resort to get something. And they have responded my mail because they discuss if you want to order like 50,000 or 100,000 of devices, and if it's a small company they don't care, but they did for some reason. And they said, okay, we can do with the hardware that we have, we can help you to make some simple device that will work with both platforms. And okay, but I knew that they have, for example, firmware that works with both the old OLT, so Ericsson and the Calix, but they can't because they don't do it. They have a separate code for the customers, and they don't copy the code to the others that you want. Okay, you have to do all the job step by step, so interoperability and so on. So they have sent me samples of hardware, and it started like dumping logs, MIBs, tests, log, MIBs, and so on. So in one moment, it started working with both platforms. So this equipment saved our life. It was usable, and it's still used. And in fact, if you look at the same hardware that looks exactly the same, Nokia uses them. Uses the same factory. Nokia makes the ONTs in the same factory. They don't even do the firmware by themselves. It's the factory who does it for them. But yeah, there was something like, okay, if I don't buy more, they will not support any fixes if there is a need to make a fix. So there is something which I encourage you to go, if possible. Now there is a different name. It was called Broadband Forum, World Forum, and the name for that now is Network X. This year it will be in Paris. It started from Berlin, Amsterdam. They are moving every 2 years to different city. That company, CIG, was present, so I could talk to them directly, meet these people. Lot of different vendors of equipment, but also there were present chipset vendors. All right, if you look at the Broadcom, they don't even want to talk to you. If you look at the other vendors, in fact, you need to have a van full of dollars just to come. But some loose discussions, okay, what kind of ideas I have, what I would like to do, and so on. So it took me like, I don't know, 3 years, 3 visits. On the 4th year, talking, and the Realtek, in fact, decided, okay, we will do it with you. Normally they don't do such a things. And they said, we like your idea. That you will do. So they have released to me the source code. I mean for the chipset, so SDK. That was quite old from today's perspective. So I have done some tests and learning. it was at the beginning test and fun. Collecting of new useful toys for development and so on. Then I got some newer SDK because I didn't like what was in the older one. In fact, all the ONUs based on Realtek usually use the old one. I guess I'm one of the, maybe the only who for simple ONUs use the most recent SDK. We have established some first relations with some reasonable factories. Today there are tens of or hundreds of factories, but not all of them, from now my perspective, do the things as are necessary. Sometimes some of them, they forget to do some programming during the manufacturing, then we have to fix it device by device when the devices come by ship or by train to Poland. So it's costful because, well, if some factory is too cheap, you may then have another expenses just to fix their issues. Okay, so and finally it started to work, and we have decided, okay, that we are gonna do the ONTs for ourselves, for our network, and in meantime we have replaced the OLTs. We don't have any more BLMs, we don't have any more Calix, because of the ONUs that were used before were also used by Nokia, and there was a firmware for Nokia for this device, and then we could upload it. We just changed the OLTs to Nokia, and Nokia has one big advantage: they don't block third party. This is ZTE also is not blocking, but the Huawei does, and you have to combine how to unlock the Huawei OLT. That besides Huawei OLT is very stable and good, but I don't like their politics about blocking third party. So, oh, sorry, that's a mistake. First samples on reasonable chipsets. Yep. With the previous ONU, it occurred that the chipset inside has a small buffer, and we had a problem to get a speed over 400 megs because of the tail drop issues and so on. It was possible to fix it with Nokia when the Nokia OLT did the shaping and rate limiting. So we didn't hit the bottleneck in the ONU. It was done on the line card. So I had to port the changes from the old chipset to the new chipset, and it started working. And the first massive manufacturing was, in fact, in 2020. So we have today, 4 years after the first massive manufacturing. But before, I had to work over 1 year just to be able to do something. And still, we release patches for the software. So there are some situations that some telcos have a specific case that requires a fix because nobody else did it. I mean, nobody else thought. LeoLabs was started, in fact, officially in 2019 because we decided we have to sell it to also other ISPs in Poland because with the amount that our Leon company needs, it's too little just to keep proper relations with the chipset vendors. In fact, you should have at least 100,000 of devices just to be able to discuss the support and so on. So, and that's my lab. Yeah, a few pictures that somebody may like or not. It's a soldering iron, a lot of OLTs. We have a bunch of OLTs from different vendors because of ISPs in Poland use ZTE, Huawei, Dasan, Nokia, Calix, Zone, Ubiquiti, and some other unknown vendors also can be met. Both GPON, EPON, now XGS-PON, or XGPON, which is not a accepted standard for Europe. But some ISPs also in Ukraine, I know that they have a line cards with XGPON, and we also did some solution for that. So that's what I like. These are my toys. These are my toys. So I'm having a fun. So in 2020, we had a working and profitable company from the beginning because we had internal customer that provides orders. And a lot of potential external customers and quite well set of knowledge. And products that are mature to be sold out. And some distributor in Poland who could do it. And we did some first external sales. And the customers were satisfied, so it looked quite fine. And this LeoLabs is not a classical startup because we don't have any financial investor. So we don't have to put all the digits in Excel and say, why didn't we met the KPIs and so on. No, we do the own way. We do it the own way. And I must say it's very difficult to go through larger companies because they don't know you, they don't know who you are and so on. But slowly it works. So we have a very low cost of operation because we have the same people from Telecom and in our company. So we use same human resources, let's say. Well equipped but not expensive lab. So that's the difference. Corporation cannot buy something that they need on eBay. We can do it. We collect experience from small ISPs. So there are so many. In Poland there is, I would say, 3,000 active ISPs who do some FTTH. 3,000. Everyone have some issues in the network. Some little loops, some strange VLANs, some strange packets which are running through, causing issues, problems, and the other things, and very specific configurations because they can. For example, some telcos like connecting customers on the same fiber from OLT over L2. Yeah, it's called hairpinning or something like that. And it causes a lot of problems because you have to, once you send a broadcast, it must be sent back on the same port. So you got hit with your own broadcast. Not all the devices can survive it. There are methods to mitigate it and so on the ONTs, but we have gone through a lot of different cases with small ISPs. So that's why I think that the firmware is quite good with interoperability with many vendors. And we add more and more features. Like, for example, recently an operator who uses Huawei says, okay, but it doesn't work when he asks for MAC addresses from LAN port. And it occurred to be Huawei private extension. Like 3 weeks of reversing, making code, some other fixes, and it works. So if it's necessary, this is something what we do. Interoperability, interoperability fixing. It's not always possible to do everything. Sometimes we need to find some workaround and or proposal for another solution. What we also do, there are some companies who buy other ISPs. And then, let's say they have Nokia, the others have Dasan. They were trying Nokia ONUs with Dasan and have problems with multicasts. And with our devices, they connect our devices to Dasan, then they switch to Nokia, and it's smooth. So it works. Or transition from EPON to GPON. Just also can put our devices and just switch OLT when all the ONUs are replaced. It's simple. You don't have to go to all the subscribers in one day just to replace equipment. You just replace them step by step and then just change the OLT. Very often with very inexpensive solutions, it's not possible because it might not work properly when you switch. It may not support automatic switchover, for example. And our, in fact, company is all the time profitable. And okay, from idea to product, we started with a simple device with one port. This one is also simple with one port, but we decided, okay, why? Because there was a speed race between ISPs. Why don't we do device with port which is 2.5G LAN? There is such a standard, and we did it. We found a company that was interested also in. They decided, okay, they will test it. Probably they will buy it. They buy it now. And yes, it works. You can get 2.2 gigs on GPON in a downstream. It doesn't mean that you have to sell, for example, 2.2G, but you can sell like 1.2G, which is more than competitor can do on a single port. And still, you don't need to invest in hell expensive XGS-PON. Still can skip over, at least it's like buying a time before the need of expensive investments. So, all the time through all the time we have removed of major bugs, fixed a lot of minor issues, added additional features, doing optimization like some buffer cuts, which is not necessary to release more memory and so on. It's not that easy, trust me, with such a small CPUs, that if you have like 32 megs of RAM and you have to run a lot of processes, you have to really watch out not to get like out of memory message, and to properly react if it happens. It may happen. It's better to have something that reboots in such a case than it's a zombie. So now we have plenty of small customers with different networks. Infrastructures with problems. So that's underestimated live lab with many customers. And we have own lab. We have own network with own customers. We can't deliver devices to own customers that we are not sure that they will work, that will do the job. And as a final effect, most of the issues are fixed now. Oh, sorry. So, we have done also new products. I didn't put the pictures here because they are at the table over there in the corridor. We started with ONT with RF cable TV. It's a radio. I mean, if there is operator who uses cable TV over 1550 nanometers, we started with simple one. It also worked. Then we additional ONT with 4 1G ports in case of IPTV services, so when set-top boxes are necessary to be connected. Plus VoIP works. ONT as SFP stick. That's quite interesting device because it can also support 2.5G on SFP port. And we have fixed most of the problems with interoperability, like when you plug this stick to like a MikroTik or Ubiquiti, that it's not going to synchronize or it loses link. No. It's all automatic now. It was a lot of thinking, just how to mitigate the issues of lack of interoperability on SFP slot. Even such a thing like auto-negotiation, imagine, auto-negotiation on SFP slot might be a problem. Yeah, this ONT with 2.5G base T port. Then we have replaced this ONT with cable TV with the newer cable TV, but this one supports like a reading of parameters of cable TV signal from OLT. So you can check what is the optical signal level of 1500 nanometers carrier. And XGS-PON, XG-PON, that's one of the most recent. It's quite fresh, but it works. I mean, it's for wholesale, and that's something that can fix the issues if somebody has a card with XG-PON interface. There is no yet automatic way that we have discovered how it could be automatically switch over between XGS-PON and XG-PON, but you can just change this parameter, how it's going to work in which mode through the web GUI in this device. All right, customers, tens of small ISPs. As mentioned, over 3K of active ISPs in Poland. Examples. This first one, Sirion, still exists, but Iliad. There is Iliad also investing here in Ukraine, as I know. And they have purchased that company. There are some others that can be, that are here on the list. But Leon, that's the internal customer. But the FiberHost is one of the largest wholesale FTTH networks in Poland, private held by financial institutions. And they trusted us and they use our devices. They have two vendors, in fact, but because this is the way how they want to do. But it works and they don't complain. In fact, they never had a case open. I made upgrades, in fact, in the meantime, because I know that something should be upgraded, but they didn't need this upgrade for their operations. And the funny thing is that we have started a crazy marketing, which is like, okay, if somebody wants as a private to buy one device, they can do it. Because people, the geeks especially, they want to have their own router. And they want to have their own ONT, like a stick inside. And they want to throw away like Orange fan box. And it works with that. I mean, they just change the serial numbers, passwords, and so on. Special firmware can adjust how it behaves, or if we pretend to be a router, or if we are just a simple SFU, and it goes. So a lot of global telcos use our devices whether they like it or not. One day somebody will come from Orange and say, okay, let's try it officially, maybe. This is another kind of marketing, but it works. In fact, some telcos from Germany and the other places, because there is a huge community that does a lot of discussions about these devices, that they work, they are okay. So some telcos, smaller ISPs, they find it out in Google and they write an email if they could test and do such a thing. So it is possible to bring something new to the market. It means that we are not a company who buys something and just sells with some engineering. We do the software by ourselves. Of course, sometimes we need to cooperate with like a real tech support if there are some specific issues to be fixed. But we build the software, so we compile it, we make the packages and so on. That's the biggest advantage that we have, which I guess when comparing with many other solutions. We are trying to make it a telco grade, and it is telco grade. Because of having real telco customers, it means it is telco grade. And thanks for my wife who designed both logos.